Deep within Russian territory, a fiery explosion marks the destruction of a Tu-22M3 bomber taken down by a Ukrainian missile. Moments later, a Russian A-50 early warning aircraft meets the same fate, obliterated by a long-range Ukrainian strike. Another blast levels an industrial site in Bryansk. You might assume these strikes were delivered by Western-supplied HIMARS, Storm Shadows, Scalp, or ATACMS, but they weren't. Instead, Ukrainians ingeniously revived a Cold War relic, the Soviet-era S-200, and have been using it to target Russian aircraft and infrastructure far beyond the front lines. Developed during the 1960s and 70s, the S-200, known to NATO as the SA-5 Gammon, was once the USSR's premier long-range surface-to-air missile system. It was designed to protect strategic targets from high-flying American bombers like the B-52 Stratofortress. The first regiments appeared in 1966, with deployment rapidly expanding to over 2,000 launchers by 1990. As part of the USSR, Ukraine inherited at least 13 S-200 systems, which remained operational after independence. The original model, the S-200A Angara, featured the V-860 missile, offering a 12.5-mile ceiling. By 1970, the upgraded Vega variant extended range and altitude even further, up to 170 miles and 25 miles respectively. Export models like the S-200VE followed, and between 1999 and 2002, Poland modernized it into the S-200C. Even with newer systems like the S-300, S-400, and upcoming S-500, the S-200 still outranges most variants, giving Ukraine a significant strategic tool. The missile's massive payload is another strength. Ukraine had stockpiles of the 5V-28E variant when Russia invaded in 2022. In 2023, Poland officially supplied an S-200 Angara system and 20 missiles. Each missile weighs 8 tons, stretches over 35 feet, and carries a warhead packed with nearly 500 pounds of high explosives and tens of thousands of shrapnel pellets. Detonated by a radar proximity fuse, the warhead can destroy anything within a 120-degree arc. Launched by 4 solid-fuel boosters, the missile is propelled by a 2-stage system with a highly toxic liquid fuel sustainer engine. Third, its reach. The missile can strike targets at altitudes up to 134,000 feet, ideal for taking out high-flying Russian bombers. Its speed is another asset, reaching Mach 4 and covering its full range in just over 3 minutes. Though originally designed as a surface-to-air weapon, it can now function like a long-range ballistic missile, something Ukraine has historically lacked. This gives Kyiv new leverage, forcing Russian jets to operate from deeper within the country and reserving expensive long-range munitions for frontline attacks. Western countries were initially reluctant to supply such missiles, fearing stock depletion and Russian retaliation, including nuclear threats. But the US, UK, and France eventually stepped in with HIMARS, Storm Shadows, and Scalp systems. Germany may soon follow with its Taurus missiles. Despite their impact, Western-supplied missiles remain limited. That's why Ukraine has accelerated domestic missile development. By December 2024, President Zelensky announced an ambitious plan: produce 3,000 homegrown missiles by the end of 2025. From having just one missile, the Neptune, when the war began, Ukraine now boasts several. A ground attack Long Neptune, the 435-mile range Palanitsia hybrid missile drone, the Peklo cruise missile, also 435 miles, and the Ruta missile, currently in final testing. But until those are widely available, Ukraine relies on the reconditioned S-200 and its 5V-28E missiles, what Forbes calls Kyiv's most effective deep strike weapon. Before the war, the system's most notorious use was an accidental 2001 downing of a Russian airliner during a Ukrainian military drill. By 2013, the S-200 had been retired. But after the 2022 invasion, Ukraine revived and upgraded the system for modern combat. The guidance system, once rudimentary, has likely been enhanced, possibly with GPS or even components from newer systems like the Grom-2 missile. Improved guidance and targeting have made the missile far more precise. Experts like Trent Telenko suggest Ukrainian engineers may have fitted new radars from other advanced systems into the S-200's framework, boosting its performance significantly. Russia first reported S-200 use in 2023, noting strikes deep inside its own territory, including Bryansk and Morozovsk air base. Footage showed missiles diving steeply onto Russian targets. There was even an attempted strike on the Kerch Bridge, connecting Crimea to mainland Russia. On one occasion, a missile hit Taganrog, likely aiming for the nearby air base housing Russian bombers. In January 2024, Ukraine brought down an A-50 early warning plane and heavily damaged an Il-22 command post using S-200s. Most dramatically, an S-200 downed a Tu-22M3 strategic bomber over Stavropol Krai. Russia blamed a technical issue, but Ukrainian sources said it was the result of a precision strike executed from over 190 miles away after a week-long ambush. Since then, S-200 activity has diminished, with Ukraine relying more on Western air defense and drones, but its role as a stopgap long-range weapon remains vital. Until Ukraine's new arsenal matures, the modernized S-200 remains a crucial asset. But what do you think? Should Ukraine keep pushing for Western support, focus more on domestic arms production, or do both? Share your thoughts, and thanks for watching.